Join UF Hall of Famer and 14-year NFL vet Shane Matthews every weekday as he brings you all you need to know about your Florida Gators, including news, analysis, and opinions with some of the biggest names in sports. Find us on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts, or watch us live at 8 a.m. on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter.
Good morning. You're looking live at PodUp with Matthews in the morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios. Large enough to serve you, small enough to care. It is Tuesday. We'll have Buddy Martin here just a second on the Titan Tomorrow hotline. If you missed it last night, men's and women's and Gator Hoops win in the O'Connell Center. I did not see one play of it, so y'all can fill me in on what happened. I want to give a shout out to the Orlando Touchdown Club, or they may call it the Touchdown Club of Orlando. Had a tremendous turnout last night. I spoke down there to those guys and gals, and it's a fun group, and really enjoyed going down there and speaking and answering their questions. Let's go to the Titan Tomorrow hotline, courtesy of Duffield Home Improvements, and we're joined by the one and the only Buddy Martin. Good morning, buddy. How you doing?
Wait, Shane, I can't get my camera to work or cooperate.
Well, I can see you.
I know, but it's cattywampus, as we say down south. Anyway, interesting conversation with you last night about where to go. I'll get this straight. I'm sorry. I'm making you seasick. It's not you, folks. It's me. Anyway. All right. So, Shane, we had an interesting conversation last night. I'll get this fixed about, where to go from here. And we've been accused of being sunshine pumpers, right? I'm fresh out of sunshine. I can't pump it anymore. And not sure where to go next. But now I did talk to you last night about this, and you said, well, it's football. There are games left to play. Anything can happen. But the reality of it is they are really painted into a corner right now. The only thing that could fix it would be to beat FSU to get bowl eligible.
Real quick. Van Der says, today is a day for me to just sit back and listen to Shane pump up Mertz and defend Napier. A, I have not defended Billy Napier. B, have I pumped up Mertz? Yes. But if you're blind and don't think he's a good football player, please don't watch my show then. I mean, I don't know what else you want me to say. The guy is top 4 in the league. He's top 15 in America. The guy knows how to play quarterback. Again, if you don't like my opinion, listen to another show. It's that simple. Because you have no idea about quarterback play then. All right.
You can't blame him. I mean, he's played great.
No, but this guy's he's criticizing Graham Mertz, and I praise Graham Mertz because I praise good quarterback play. Simple as that.
Well, you don't have to defend that. You know what you're talking about.
Oh, I know, but I get tired of
I know the listener you're talking about. He's on my show too. That's his opinion. That's what it is. It's worth that.
Well, his opinion is clueless.
Okay.
Right? I mean, everybody has an opinion, but if you don't think Graham Mertz is a good football player, you're clueless.
Yeah. I agree with you on that.
Yeah. Zach says on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing. Good morning. In all honesty, how long will Napier get if he does not start winning? Just frustrated with the results. Wanted your take on it. Zach, I don't have the answer to that. I'm not the one that makes the decisions. I have no insight on it. I don't even know who makes the decisions. I don't know if it's the athletic director, the president, the board of trustees. But do you know the answer to that?
Yes, I do. Here's the answer. The seat's getting warm. Okay, it is getting warm. I'm not overreacting. I'm just saying like it is, because look at what you're facing right now with 3 ranked teams. Might not go get to a bowl for the first time in a million years. And the people who hire and fire are the money people that Scott Strickland works for. That's true, because they say, let's buy him out. They got to come up with the money. I don't see that happening. I think it would take something terrible for him to get fired. But now, everything's on the table right now, Shane. Everything's on the table. They've not shown progress. Like I wrote in my column, last week it was a case of getting beat by a vastly superior team. This week it was a case of getting beat by, Sam Pittman's had a tough go, lost close game, but a vastly inferior team when you look at the program. That's not progress. You have got to have progress. And now Billy It's accountable. No more excuses. No more just let Scott. It just didn't happen. And Billy Napier, after 22 games, is 11-11.
Yeah, and I don't know what the answer is. As I said, I still go back. I got to move on about how we lost the game Saturday, um, or how we should have won the game.
Mm-hmm.
It's unacceptable. There's no other way around it. That is the entire coaching staff. It's not just the head coach. It is all the assistants that are involved that have headsets on. They should know the situation. They should communicate it with the team. It did not happen. That bothers me a lot. I don't know how else to put it
Well,
because
sorry.
yeah, I just don't know how else to put it.
And you should put it pretty well last night, and you really said it like it was. I talked to Chris Strong after I talked to you, and he agreed with that. It's not the number of people you have; it's the Nick Saban starter kit thing about all the assistants, the analysts, what have you. And you said I do not know one analyst, and I don't either. I don't know any of it. And you, as you pointed out, name the ones you named that on Nick Saban's list: Charlie Strong.
Well, his analysts are former head coaches for the most part. Lane Kiffin, Steve Sarkisian, Charlie Strong, Todd Grantham, Bill O'Brien. Those are and he's got some younger assistants analysts as well. But we don't have any of that type of experience. And I go back to, you can lose games. Like I said, you can complain about play calling, you can complain about missed tackles, things like that. You can do a hell of a lot complaining about what happened at the end of the game. I tell you, that is a situational football that you practice in probably not Pop Warner because you don't kick field goals really, but high school. I got to get over
junior
it,
high
but
school.
it really bothers me because, like I said, buddy, I'm on the radio and I give the entire situation what needs to go on. I'm not even at practice. These guys have got to communicate and do those type of things to help the kids out. Let's see, we had a Facebook Live here that I wanted to read, but
while you're finding that, I'll just go ahead and say that it's game 9. You can't have situational football being what it is when you don't know what unit's on the field. If a system is like, okay, one player calls it out and gets it wrong, it's a bad system if it's not working like that. And I'll go back to say results are results are results. And the fact is right now, Billy's not getting the results. And seat's getting warm. People are getting anxious. And here's the thing that I talked to Chris about last night, but he didn't follow recruiting, as you know. Here's the deal. If you keep on losing like this, games that you should win, the people who write the checks for the NIL money are going to go bye-bye. Then what do you do when you start losing recruits?
Well, that won't be good. All right. So Tim asked, somebody asked about Jack Pyburn. He was a backup, played hard, played on all special teams, tore his ACLs out for the year.
I liked him a lot. I thought he was really playing well, and it's too bad.
He plays hard. He plays hard. Dan says it's been self-inflicted losses over and over. That's more frustrating than the Georgia game. Clean game, Georgia was better. I'll take that over the Arkansas. That's my point. When you just get beat and you can question calls and stuff, I get it. But like I told you, I don't want to beat a dead horse here, but it's
pre-snap penalties. You can't have them.
Well, that everybody has those, but I'm talking about giving your kids a chance to win the game. That's what happened at the end of the game. And like I told you, the quarterback ran the operation to perfection. You saw his reaction when he came off the sideline or to the sideline. He had the same damn reaction that I did. So, all right. Greg says we have enough issues without the stupid situational coaching mistakes. Yeah, I mean, all right. So here we go. We got some text real quick, buddy. A bunch of text. I'm going to try to get to as many stuff as I can today. Don't know who this is. Where they're from the 941. Oh, Kevin from Punta Gorda. Shane, I understand why Gator fans can't be all serenity now when a game is going sideways. But do you think some fans assume your outrage about the procedural miscue at the end of the regulation is translating to fire everyone narrative? I certainly don't see that. It's not me to look. I'm going to say it one more time because I know people don't watch this whole show. Special teams coordinator has the title, but every assistant coach on your staff is part of special teams. They have a designated responsibility. Okay. Just like no different than offense. You have an offensive line coach is responsible for the offensive line. He's usually in charge of field goal protection. All right. So the reason I'm so upset off the last play of the game, I don't give a damn if they said a kid said it or a kid shouldn't be doing it. There should be multiple offensive coaches because they know what play is being called in that situation, 16 seconds left. They should be telling the field goal unit that should be standing right by them. Majority of them are out on the field because they're linemen, saying, okay, we're going to throw this ball out of bounds or near the sideline, or we're going to throw it past the sticks for a first down, and then we're going to clock it. We're going to huddle like we normally do to kick a field goal, jog out there in our normal routine, and kick the game winner. But nobody communicated that, obviously. That's what bothers me the most. Okay, I'm not going to talk about it.
You think Trey Smack would have made that field goal in a normal situation?
Yes, because it was chaos. It was total freaking chaos.
Yeah, it was. Exactly. I agree with it. I agree.
And if we don't get the stupid penalty for running the people on the field, he makes it anyway. So it just irritates me. I don't mind losing games, people questioning this call, that call, but we lost that game because of that. No other way. So
that's coaching mistakes, and I think the point he addressed at the end of that email, that comment from Punta Gorda was, who you going to blame? And the fact is, we're going to blame the head man, going to blame the whole coaching staff. They are culpable here now.
It's everybody. It's not the head coach. It's not the special team.
But it's his company. It's his organization. Granted, I'm with you, but he's the one to put it together. So,
I understand, but it's
so. Are you saying there should be changes in the coaching staff?
If they don't understand situational football, I absolutely. But again, I've played a lot of football. I've been around football my whole life. I've only coached a little bit of high school, a little bit of pro ball. But I know the game, and I don't do it every day, but situational football if you've been around. Of course,
I know it. I know it myself, and I didn't play college football.
Yeah. Bride says on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing, that he felt like Billy sounded like or reminded him of Mullen after the South Carolina loss.
Interesting.
Yeah. Okay, this is from Hunt on the Titan More text line. It says, simple question. What do you say to our players after a tough loss to keep the team engaged and motivated for the rest of the season? The team seems to play hard for Billy no matter what. Thanks, guys. Enjoy. Look, Graham Mertz is a tremendous leader. He was extremely upset at the way the game ended. I think with his leadership, they'll be okay. Defensively, I guess Princely would be the leader over there. But you only get to play so many games, folks. These kids need to go out and play hard. They need to go play hard. Chris from Cottondale says, Shane, you held it together yesterday, even though you may not agree with things. JC completely lost it, talking about giving Mike Peterson the DC job and giving him $2 million a year. That's insane. I get his point, but an unproven DC that has never called defense isn't going to fix this problem. I agree with that as well. This gentleman says the more he listens to JC, the more he likes him. All right. All right. The last text here on the Titan More text. One of the Pouncey twins said on a show the other day they would help recruit O-line targets. We need help there.
Anybody ask him?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know anything about any of that stuff. So,
well, Shane, you are upset, and rightfully so. And I talked to Chris Storing, two great Gators who helped build this program, and everybody who feels like they're a part of it understands when you come this far and you do this much, and you seem to get almost ready to get to the next level, and you keep not getting knocked back down. You think, what is going on here? There's some pride and dignity in this program, and it was really bad to be a Gator on Saturday, to lose like that. A lot of people felt the sting of it. It always hurts to lose, but to lose like that to a team has no business coming to the Swamp and beating you when they haven't won a game in the SEC. You can't get past that. You can't get past it.
No. Dan says the Pouncey brothers can help by writing a check. That's true. James on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing, says this team is outrageously young, along with the staff, and also
No, I don't
injury
hear that.
plagued.
I
Anyone
don't
who
want to hear
thought
that.
this wouldn't be at
No.
least a 4-year rebuild is clueless.
Mhm.
Everybody's playing young players around America. So
Shane, who is this program? I'm talking to Ainsley Lee last night. She covers Auburn for used to work here. I thought about who this program now is most like. And when you talk about mediocrity, because that's how we're talking about now, mediocre when you're below 500 or worse, you think who else is like that? It's far like Mississippi State. It's far like Auburn, Texas A&M for that matter. These all
A&M's never
clumped
won
together.
anything, buddy.
I know. I mean, right now, today, this season, though. I
Yeah.
don't mean. I'm talking. I'm talking about what their history is. I mean, today, right now, if you said Florida belongs in this group of teams, who would you include in there? Certainly not in Georgia. Certainly not in Alabama. Not even Ole Miss, etc. They're lumped into the Vanderbilts and not even as good as Missouri.
No,
They would get their doors
we're not
blown off.
lumped into Vanderbilt.
Well, I'm just saying in terms of a group of teams.
We're in there with Kentucky,
No,
South
lost to Kentucky.
Carolina.
Lost to Kentucky.
Yeah, but you lost to them. But
I'm
still,
talking about today, right now, this year. South Carolina is certainly
we
one.
beat them, so you can't lump us in there.
But
You're
okay, then where do you
Kentucky.
if you put it, Shane, if you put it in quads or whatever, you put groups.
Yeah, I think everybody, when you look at Florida, Kentucky, South Carolina,
not even Missouri. Missouri's above that now.
yeah, but Missouri can still end up losing the rest of their games. You never know.
I don't think so. But anyway,
but you never know. That's why they play the game. I mean, we're middle of the pack. I mean,
not
like
even
I said,
middle, lower third,
saying,
Shane. Lower
I
third.
keep saying, buddy, you've been around the program a long time. I feel like, from what I've been told and the history that I learned from Florida football, we are what we are before the few years Charlie Pell had, the few years Galen had. That's who Florida is. Am I wrong?
Yeah. Because there were some other good years in there, not the least of which was Ray Gray's first year when the program had been going.
But what I'm saying is they've had a couple of winning years, but they didn't win on a consistent basis.
No, that's not. No, that's true. But you asked me. No,
well, that's my point here. Because Mullen had a couple of good years. Muschamp had a good year. So my point is, nobody has strung out any wins or championships before Coach Spurrier got here.
No doubt about it. I know. I'm well aware of that. I understand it. And so we keep thinking there's all the M's, the Mullen, Muschamp, et cetera, et cetera. We're right back where we started with this program after Urban left. This is where we are now. No progress.
Yep, it's Ruse Ogre State Farm Office, a team of dedicated insurance professionals ready to help life go right with the right insurance options for you and your family. Visit ogreinsurance.com. Give them a call at 352-240-1779. So people always ask me, I'm going to ask the fans and all our listeners here, and I'm going to ask you, buddy, if you were to make changes, what would you do? People always, what the number one thing is? We need an offensive coordinator. See, I disagree with that.
Yeah.
I have bigger issues with special teams and defense more than I do offense. You're averaging over 30 points a game. You score 36, you should win a game. Is it electric? No. Is it boring at times? Can you question calls? I agree with all of that, because has anybody questioned a play call that worked?
No, I think what we're talking about, though, is a separation of duties. You can't be quarterback coach, offensive coordinator.
Can. I disagree with that.
Yeah, you could, but you can't now. When you got NIL, you're around.
There's not a damn thing wrong with our quarterback, and he coaches the quarterback.
No, I understand, but he's also calling plays.
There's nothing wrong with that. And like I tell you, this is what drives me crazy. The head coach has the final say, and he's in charge of everything. There's no doubt about it. But my point to the story is that if you coach tight ends, you are just responsible for what happens on special teams and a little bit of offense. Everybody has input. Everybody wants to get on Chris Couch, who's a special teams coordinator, whatever his name is called. And that's valid. But it's every other assistant coach is part of that special teams.
Yeah, but Shane, here's why that doesn't fly. You can't.
It flies on every other team in America.
Hold on a second. Urban Meyer said he couldn't do it all again today. He did all of it. Special teams coach.
No,
he wasn't offensive. He did, Shane. What do you mean he didn't?
He
Like,
was charged of special teams, but you're going to sit here and tell me that he did the entire thing by himself.
no, I didn't say that, Shane. Listen to what I'm saying
That's
to you.
what I'm saying.
He also
No
helped
coach
call
does that.
plays, put the game plan together. He had he was a special teams figurehead coach, whatever. I mean, he was very much involved in the program. He
Right.
said, and he
But he
devoted
didn't
a
call
ton of time,
offensive plays, buddy.
He did call some offensive
No,
plays,
he
Shane.
didn't.
Shane, I was on the headsets. I heard him. Okay, I heard the calls, and I didn't say he called them always. Mullen called them.
What do you do?
but
Just say, give the ball to Percy's probably what he said.
no. I can tell you.
I'm just telling you that being able to do multiple things is what coaches do.
Yeah, but you can't
But
do
these
all
people-
that today.
That's full
Urban,
crap.
Urban
That's
said
bull
he
crap.
could. Listen,
I disagree with that
I asked him.
1,000%.
Well, he just said, no, I couldn't do it all today. Urban said
Okay.
that. Ask Coach Spurrier around, would he do it? I think he'd say,
I guarantee you, he would be the head coach and call the plays and coach
but
the
he
quarterback.
didn't. He
because that's
gave
what
up
he does
calling
well.
play. He gave up calling some plays in South Carolina after a while.
And then when it didn't go well, he took it back
Right,
over
but he did it for a while. My point is, Shane,
for like half a game.
all right, look, here's what it is, Shane. Either he's got a bad system, either somebody's not doing the job, or he's making bad choices. Any way you put it, it goes back on Billy. Billy's got to take the heat for this one. And so you said yourself, name an analyst on the staff. You can't name one.
Right, but I don't need analysts. I think analysts
But
are
he's got him. But he's got him.
I know.
That's what the system is. Then you're saying the whole system needs to be thrown out.
I don't think the whole system. I just think your assistant coaches need to understand football and coach better. And then we need to play better. We need to get better talent. It's a collective effort. But I totally disagree on a huge level. And Urban's done more coaching than I have. But Lane Kiffin is doing it. Lincoln Riley is doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And these guys are winning. They're not winning
No,
national titles.
Lincoln's had a little difficulty lately, but yeah, sure.
Because he finally fired the problem, his defensive coordinator.
So now you're saying that Billy needs to fire some people? I mean, you're not going to fire your defensive coordinator. I mean, I
don't know who he needs to fire, but my point is, it goes back to, I don't care if you're young, I don't care about any of that stuff. If you don't know football and don't understand situations, that is hindering your program.
I agree with that. I'm saying to you though, maybe the whole system needs to be revamped. Maybe
I don't know what you talk about. I just know that you had 10 coaches that coach.
And
those 10 coaches need to
90
know.
other people.
I don't care about the other 100 people.
Well, why are they
I'm
there?
I'm talking
then?
about the 10 that have the headset on, need to know what is going on and have input and let the kids know the situations.
Okay.
And this is all stemming from the way we lost the football game. It irritates the hell out of me because it should never, ever happen.
I'm with you, Shane. I'm not arguing against you. I'm with you. I'm saying, though, it must be a bad system. What is the system? Well, according to what the critics say, it's the Nick Saban starter kit. Where did Billy train? Nick Saban. I asked a very well-known coach one time, and you might know or may not, about why Billy did things a certain way, like his press conferences. He dulls them down to say as little as possible. And he said to me, because that's how Saban did it. So there's some of that in there. And Billy's got to be Billy. The best thing I saw Saturday was Billy getting in the face of the officials. I haven't seen that from him before. He was coaching hard. I like that. But now we're getting to what I call the aisle of desperation. It's time, desperate times call for desperate measures. What changes is he going to make?
Oh, I got a text here on the Titan Mark text line. And this is a question for you, buddy. Could the HBC or Urban Meyer win the SEC with the players we have on this team?
No.
Okay. That was a text from somebody asking. I agree with that.
First of all, they wouldn't have those players. They wouldn't have that player. They have
talent. We're way behind in talent, but again, it goes back to I don't know. I'm very irritated at operational stuff because those are things that are simple, in my opinion.
Well, I mean, they said Spurrier couldn't recruit, right? I mean, he fixed that pretty well.
Spurrier
I don't know.
Recruit?
No, that's the criticism of Steve when he was there was he wasn't putting the emphasis on recruit. That changed, and you helped change that. the 92, 93, 94 teams had really good players. You guys happen to have inherited some really good players, Shane, and you were a good player and you benefited from that. And he's talked about it before. But sooner or later, you got to get your own talent in there. Now, we're going to see if he makes it the next year, what kind of class play he's got. Now you're in peril even there because if the money starts drying up, things change. So it's just going the wrong way right now, Shane. I'll be honest with you, I don't know the answer.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know either. I'm not the ones that paid to make those decisions. I'm just a podcaster, golfer,
No,
and
you're not.
former.
You're a great quarterback. You played the
Yeah,
game.
but just because you play does not mean you have all the
No,
answers or
I'm
you
not.
know the game.
Shane,
Trust
who
me.
knows more about the game than you right now around
Oh,
here?
there's plenty
Nobody.
of people that know more than me.
Where
I
are
just
they?
know
I don't
about
hear them
certain
talking.
things.
I don't hear them talking, seeing, writing anything. I mean, where
Well,
are
they
they?
must
I
not
don't.
have their own show. They need to have their own show.
They
That's
may
all.
need to have you. It helps to have your name on the door. Yeah, it does.
Jim on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing, says, "Do you think the scheme Armstrong is calling is not sound and it's the players not executing is the issue? The players seem to be in the right spots a good amount of the time, not tackling it. We are in the spot sometime and miss tackles. We aren't in the spots a lot of times either. I think I was totally wrong. I thought our front seven would be a lot better this year. I think it's a little bit better, but we just aren't big and athletic enough in the front seven on defense at all.
Shane, let me ask you, what did Arkansas do in that first drive that those guys were so wide open on that
They
little?
went fat. They did something that they hadn't shown on tape. They went back to the Kendall Briles offense where they run about 5 plays and go 100 miles an hour,
Mhm.
and just kind of got us out of position and made plays. And it was a good play call, a good deal by Kenny Guyton, no doubt about it. But again, we gave up a ton of yards. They got a really good quarterback who's hard to tackle. They got an outstanding tailback. But again, buddy, we win the game. We win the game if we let the quarterback do what he was doing.
I'm with you on that. I agree.
Because some games you're going to give up 400 or 500 yards. You just got to outscore them, similar to the South Carolina game. That's how football is. You're never going to sit here and shut people out ever. But it's frustrating.
Shane, we're a basketball school.
Well, I don't know about that either.
Well, they won last night 93-73.
Okay, well, they beat Loyola Maryland.
Yeah, I understand. Bottom line is that the reports out. One of the things I heard that was somewhat upsetting, I have not gotten to the bottom of it. I got a report from a very reliable person I know right well who's upset because he went there and saw no anthem play, heard no anthem, saw no flag. And what is going on there? Now, I'm not one of these guys who gets hyper about whether people kneel or don't kneel. That's their business. Bottom line is that he did say later there was a flag way above. I'm not sure what happened there, but apparently there were some good reports out of there. This guy, Gloten, I don't know how to say his name, Samuel, and of course my man Ronnie Kugel. I love the way he plays basketball. He handles beautifully, he passes, he shoots. He scored 23 on 15 shots last night. And they play, by the way, they play Friday night against Virginia in Charlotte. So it's going to be quite a game on. And by the way, one other thing, when you talk about slogans for teams, get off the idea of welcome to the golden era. The golden era was the worst period in Florida football history. Look up Florida Gators and see what they did under Bear Wolf in the late 1940s. And they lost like 14 or 15 straight games. The golden era is not going to work for Todd Golden.
It's not?
No, Todd Golden, that's a bad connotation. It was the worst period of time. It was an all-time low in history of
buddy,
football.
That was 80 years ago.
I don't
Nobody
care.
cares.
It's still, Shane, does World War II count? Does it matter?
Yeah, but it doesn't.
Don't ever say that again.
Whatever they
Nobody
called it,
cares.
the golden era in 1940 has no bearing on what Todd Golden.
It certainly does. It's golden era here, golden era. Shane, just because you're a kid, how old are you, Shane?
Was that coach's name Golden?
Bear Wolf.
Okay, well they're using golden era because it's Todd Golden's last name.
It's a very famous time in history. If you care enough to read about it, some of my books, it's a very famous time in Gator history. And by the way,
give me the Cliff Notes version. I don't have time to read it. You are a
part of Gator history, whether you like it or not, pal. Okay.
Yeah. Matt from Mariana says, "Good morning, QB. I'm tired of hearing the YouTubers and fans saying that Florida Arkansas game was a devastating loss. I think it's clear that both sides of the line of scrimmage are still a couple of years away. My question is this: are we going to have to endure the unthinkable of Florida State versus Georgia national championship? I don't think so. I don't think Florida State will get to the national title game. They're going to have to deal with the Louisville Cardinals in the damn ACC championship game, probably. So North Florida Bear on YouTube, brought to you by Quad Plum, says, is the SEC much more competitive than in the 90s and the 2000s? Absolutely, it is. It is a bloodbath nowadays. It's totally different. Totally different. You don't agree with that, buddy?
I agree somewhat. Yeah, I agree with that somewhat.
Yeah, and then next year it's only going to be worse when the Longhorns and the Sooners roll into town.
It's not good for Florida.
Tim says Georgia lost to Oregon by 11 last night. That's the Mike White coach Dogs. Barone says modern day defenders can't tackle. I agree. Seems like all they do is dive at people's feet or run into people.
Well, because they're
that don't
speed.
wrap
They
up.
they recruit them for speed. That's why.
Well, it's just the game has changed due to the rules. The rules favor the offense, and people get the ball in space. I wish I could play now, buddy, because we didn't throw bubble screens, we didn't throw wide receiver screens, and that's what all people do now to get the ball in space because it's hard to tackle people. So, anyway, um, got a text here on the Titan MR text line from Will. He says, y'all's thoughts on the basketball game last night. I didn't see any of it, Will.
I didn't see it.
I was traveling. Did you watch any of it, buddy?
No, I didn't see it. No.
And Mike wants to know what we need to do in order to get that Gator bait chant back.
You know, that's a very good point. And I wish we could address that because it's time now. The last guy,
they play "Move Back, You Suck" again.
Really?
I don't think the new president cares. I don't know how they got that cleared. Maybe the band just said, "To hell with it, we're going to start playing it."
Well, Shane, you got influence. You got more influence than anybody up there. Tell them, let's get this.
Who am I going to talk to about this?
You know people. You know everybody up there. Shane, they all know you.
I don't talk to those people.
That's because you don't want to talk to them. That's why.
Yeah, I don't have anything to say to them.
Well, tell them to bring that back, the Gator bait chant. I grew up with that when a kid, when the team took the field, Gator bait, da 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 da, Gator bait. You know, that was a big part of the cheer. They still have that stupid orange and blue cheer. Orange, blue, orange, blue. That's been around 100 years. The Gator bait chant was all part of what it is. And I don't see why there's anything politically wrong with it. And I hope the new president gets behind that, Shane. Who wrote that text? I want to call him up and give a kudo.
I don't know. There's so many on here. It's already gone by. Cliff says they need to do the old Oklahoma drill in practice. Yeah, well, then nobody does that anymore. LSU women got trounced by Colorado. I did not know that. They're the defending national champs and have the best team money can buy.
Yeah. Wow.
Huh.
Yeah, basketball. Right, I don't know much about that, but I have Shane. I have Franz on this week. We'll address that. He'll tell you all about it. But I want you to think about this, and I want you to talk about it next week. Something you can't wait till the end of the season, Shane, to do something. It's that, I'll get around to it when I feel like it kind of thing that Billy does. He's got to start addressing some of these issues now and talk about, stuff that can be fixed, but he can't push it. He can't roll the ball down the hill and keep on kicking the can. He needs to let people know, although he says Edgar asked him, what kind of assurances can you give Gator fans to have more patience? He said, it's not my job to coach patience. Well, it is in a way. You got to give them something to hang their hat on. So they just like to know that he's doing something about it. Saying it will address it at the end of the season means like, does this season not count? If it's broken, fix it. Do something about it, Shane.
You talking to the wrong person. Juan says all you got to do is get this class in. The players from this 2020-23 class should be much more improved in the defensive system. Everything else is on the strength and conditioning during the off season. I've mentioned many times strength and conditioning. You're talking to the wrong person about that because I was not a part of any of that. But I do know that I've played with multiple people that were just extremely strong in the weight room. but we're not strong on the football field. There's a difference.
Yeah.
So we'll see, but it's anyway. All right, buddy, who you got on your program tonight?
I'm going to have David Whitley. I hope to have Graham Hall, if possibly, if they have him tomorrow night. Coach Lauren Meadows will be joining us, and our intern as well, Kyle, will be joining us tonight. Just chopping it up on Buddy Martin's show tonight and that.
All right, buddy. Appreciate your time, my man.
Thank you, man.
Have a good day. That's Buddy Martin. Join us on the Titan Tomorrow hotline, courtesy of Duffield Home Improvements. We're going to take a quick timeout, come back. I'm going to try to get to as many of these questions and comments you guys have. Y'all are blowing up all my comments, which is a good thing because y'all care and want to get your opinion across. You're watching and listening to PodUp with Matthews in the Morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios. We'll be right back. We want to take this moment to thank our sponsors who keep the show going and pay the bills. Our premium sponsors are Crime Prevention Security Systems, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Titan MRI, Gainesville's only locally owned and operated MRI facility. Meldon Law, the only official injury and accident law attorneys of the Florida Gators. Peachland Dental, Gator Nation's first choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte. QC Kinetics, live pain-free with QC Kinetics. Campus USA, put some star power to work in your financial life with Campus USA Credit Union. Dave & Buster's, eat, drink, play, watch. Duffield Home Improvements for your window, siding, and roofing needs. Radware, your local provider of promotional products, uniforms, and apparel. Our gridiron sponsors are Auto ER, UF Bookstores, Silverback Concrete, Ruse Ogre State Farm Insurance, Radware, F45, Quality Plumbing. Our touchdown sponsors are Adams Ribs, Gator Dominoes, Celebrate Primary Care, Gator Bait Media, Okido America, Style Cuts, Ironwood Golf Course, Big Mills Cheesesteak, McDonald's of Gainesville, 84 Lumber, Dowling Signs, Baker's Sporting Goods, Silver Cube Billiards and Sports Bar. If you're interested in promoting your business on the show, call Freddie at 352-284-3733. If you like what we're doing here, make sure to follow us and support the businesses that support us.
Pro football legend Emmitt Smith understands your joint pain.
It does not surprise me that there are a ton of people out there that's in pain.
That's why Emmitt is such a proponent of QC Kinetics, offering real lasting joint pain relief with non-surgical, all-natural biologic treatments.
Whether it's a joint pain, ankle pain, shoulder pain, neck pain, back pain, hip pain, any kind of pain, the body eventually will break down when it's under that much stress.
That stress can cloud your judgment to the point that you'll just say yes to the scalpel or yes to another prescription of pain pills. But maybe it's time for a second opinion from QC Kinetics.
The reason why I would recommend this is because the natural biologics that QC Kinetics is providing you gives your body a chance to naturally heal itself.
Restorative, regenerative solutions are here. Get lasting relief and live your life.
Call QC Kinetics, 352-400-4550. That's 352-400-4550. QC Kinetics, 352-400-4550.
Welcome back to the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Silverback Concrete's a family-led team of heavy concrete specialists that build commercial structure with unrivaled quality. Silverback Concrete, you stand on it, we stand by it. So 941 Low on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing, says, if I was a high schooler and Billy Napier walked in the building, I wouldn't even recognize he's a head coach because he doesn't look like one. Well, I don't know what a football coach looks like. You think Brian Kelly looks like a football coach? He surely doesn't. There's a lot of guys that don't look like football coaches. I don't know what is he supposed to walk in there with a whistle around his neck and bike coaching shorts to look like a coach? I'm not sure what that means. All right, Bo here on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing. Shane, what are your thoughts on the fact that maybe Billy's army of coaches is too big? Keep it simple like Spur used to do. I do. I don't really have any idea. I mean, Billy's got a reasoning why he has so many analysts. You know, you get 10 coaches. I believe it's 10 official coaches that have headsets on. But all those other analysts and stuff, I'm not sure. I don't know what they do, quite honestly. I have no idea. No idea. Mike says the Gator bait chant was always a defensive rallying call. especially during the 06-08 run. Really stupid they got rid of it for dumb reasons, I'm sure. Get that damn defense back. Well, they said it was racist, some of them from the 1800s or something. It was nuts. So now everybody wants me to talk to the band director. So let's give me a list of the people I need to go talk to. I need to talk to the president, the board of trustees, the athletic director, and now the band director. And the only one out of all those people I know that probably knows me is Scott Strickland, the AD. I don't think the board of trustees would have any. I don't even know who's on the board of trustees. I don't know who the band director is. And the president, I don't know if I've met him yet or not. So, but I'll mention it if I ever meet the band director. Let's see. Andy says on Facebook Live, brought to you by Maryland Law. Shane, if you take out the McNeese game, Gators have scored 26 points in the third quarter, by far the worst. Ooh, why is that? Good stat there, Andy. I have no idea. I have no idea. So Dan says Lou Holtz looked like a jockey and he could coach though. Yeah, for sure. All right, let's see what here is on our I wish I would have saw the basketball game last night, but I didn't. I was too busy dealing with folks in Orlando. Great group of people down there. This is from John on the Titan Our text line. He says, when Napier gets his guys in here, does the game day and procedure stuff change or get any better? That's my big question. When you mean his guys, are you talking about more of his recruits? I don't think that has anything to do with the procedure stuff. Barone says he agrees. Combine CrossFit warriors don't always make for good football players. They just look what a football player should look like. Yeah. Oh, here's a good one. Zach on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plum, says, would Kiffin make people fear Florida football again? Good question. I don't know. Maybe the listeners can chime in and give us their thoughts on that. Lane's done a good job at Ole Miss. There's no question about it. Their schedule's not been very difficult. It's getting at the back end of it's a little bit harder. Juan says, I ain't arguing about no Gatorade deal. What NIL deal did Anthony Richardson have last year? Because I could have sworn it was Gatorade, not Jordan. Oh, I don't know anything about that. I don't know anything about that at all. Brandon responding to Andy says teams make adjustments and we don't get the ball to our playmakers' hands. There's a good point there. As I've stated multiple times, if they wanted me to coach for a day or one game, I would line up with Ricky Pearsall, Trey Wilson, Carlos Boardingham, and Andy Jean. If any of them got tired, Aiden Mizell, you're in the game, buddy. And then I'd alternate my backs. David Waybright is the band director. Does anyone on here know him? Everybody send emails to David Waybright. Don't put my name on it, though. That's funny. We got great researchers on this program. Let me get to this text here. This is from Jimmy. He says, Shane, if you were voting for the Heisman Trophy, who would you vote for today? Ooh, good question. I don't get to watch as much football as I used to, unfortunately. But from what I've seen, and maybe because he's in the Southeastern Conference, that's why I would go Jalen Daniels. I think Jaden Daniels has had a phenomenal year. I don't know if he's going to play this week. Heck, sometimes concussions or whatever, you can linger for a while, but he's been unbelievable. And then I'd probably go Michael Penix Jr., number 2. Tim wants to know, I get this question a lot. Why does Johnson start over Etienne? Due to pass protection. Etienne is not very good in pass protection. I think he's gotten a little bit better. But Montreal's a much better pass protector. So that's why. I think they're both very good backs, though. In the whole, man, Montreal's very good. Etienne's got good speed, good vision, can bust it outside. But I hear you. Yeah, Greg says Etienne can't pass block. You're exactly right. Wicked Fresh on YouTube, responding to the Lane Kiffin comment that someone asked. Lane doesn't recruit. He wouldn't last long either. Well, what Lane does, he does not recruit. But what he does is he goes into the portal and gets players. Um, I don't see that ever happening. I don't think the administration would hire Lane. Lane's a good fit for Ole Miss. Twine will say Shane the Kerwin Bell hire would be perfect if Billy doesn't work out here. Look, we talked about this yesterday with JC, and I actually spoke with Kerwin. Was it Sunday or Monday? I talked to him once a week. Um, he's as good a football coach as I've ever been around. He and I used to do camps together. He runs a lot of Coach Spurrier's offense with a lot of the RPO new age stuff mixed in. He's won everywhere he's been. That's what's crazy. Um, I don't know if he would ever be hired here, but it would be good, man. It would be good. Cliff asked on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mel. Shane, if you were coaching, would you give ETN more reps than Johnson? I don't have a problem with the way they do it because, like I told you, pass protection from the running back is crucial. And y'all see the splash plays. I get that. But, some of these pass plays break down. It's because ETN didn't pick up the guy that was blitzing the backer. And then they want to blame the offensive line, which most of the time it is offensive line. But that's why he doesn't play as much. Kevin on YouTube, brought to you by Mel. This is Quality Plumbing. I'm exhausted right now. Got back late. Shane, have you watched the Josh Pate video on UF versus the Archie game? Interesting take, and I think he's an accurate when admin is thinking mostly the last couple of minutes of the video. I have not. I don't even know who Josh Pate is, and I don't know what. Maybe you can let us know what he said. Twan says keep Jaluk and Mike Peterson along with Coach Chaos and Raymond. Who is Coach Chaos? I don't know who that is. Y'all know who that is? All right, text on the Titan More text line. Says, why would Kiffin come to Gainesville? Isn't he the cart guy at Bostic? Who, the cart guy at Bostic? I don't know what that means. ETN was scared to block against Georgia. Yeah, he's just not a very good pass protector. 1966 HBC beer is available at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill, Gator Games in the Swamp, and select retail outlets. Crisp American Lager. That's 1966 HBC beer. Perry says they should have tried to hire Kerwin a long time ago. Yeah, I agree with that, but it ain't going to happen. Zach says Kiffin is as close to Spurrier as I know in the college game of today. Arrogant and exciting football. Also going to light up score. Yeah, they're very similar. Wouldn't it be interesting if Coach Spurrier, if they had Twitter back in the day when he was coaching? I know he wouldn't actually be doing the tweets himself because he's just not technology sound. But the comments and stuff, that would be great. Brandon says, Shane, you sound like there's something in the background preventing Kerwin from ever being an option. What is the hang up with the administration? I don't know. The only thing I can think of is because he's always coached at small levels. I don't see anything wrong with that. But then, people complain that you hired Billy Napier from the Sun Belt. So you're going to hire a guy who coached at a high school in Florida, coached in the Pioneer League at JU, coached in, I forgot what Valdosta State is called, whatever league they're in, Gulf South Conference, I believe. And then Western Carolina, which is in the league with Sanford and all of them. I don't even know what it's called now. Southern Conference or something like that. So I think the fan base would like it. Some would, some wouldn't, some question it. But he's very good. He is very, very good. All right. Michael says QB, why do running backs normally don't block well? They're always in great position to square up on the rusher, but rarely ever get to. They just some are good, some aren't. All right, I wanted to get to Andy. He wanted to change the subject, which I'm all for. It'll wear you out. At the risk of changing the subject, are the Texans making the playoffs? Should CJ Stroud be in the MVP talk? I think he'll be rookie of the year. He's a phenomenal thrower of the football, man. I saw a lot of that game. I was doing stuff around the house on Sunday because our golf match got canceled. So I watched it, man. He made some remarkable throws, just throwing people open. And Texans are they're a surprising team. I don't know if they'll make it. I'd have to, because I think only one team out of that conference or that division, and I think it's going to be the Jags. The NFC North has a lot of teams with winning records. Pittsburgh's they're 5-3. I don't think they're very good. The Bengals, I think, are at the bottom at 4-3, I believe. I think they're going to win the division, or it's going to be tough. They got to catch the Ravens, but the Bengals, look out for them. So no, I don't think the Texans will make the playoffs just because there's some really good teams in the AFC. John says, hypothetically speaking, who would Kerwin get to run his defense? Oh, I don't know. I have no idea. I can't even remember who his defense coordinator is at Western Carolina. I think it's a guy that was an assistant last year and he elevated him because he lost his defensive coordinator. All right, King on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing. Shane, have you ever watched the film study of Florida versus Arkansas on the Gator Nation podcast? It's even more heartbreaking. I don't watch that stuff, and I'm sure those guys do a good job. My thoughts on watching tape and rewinding it and rewinding and rewinding it, and the PFF grades, they do all do a good job. But I don't know how you can grade somebody or sit here and rewind it and say you should do this, you should do that, when you don't know what's being taught or what the play call was. I just don't think it's possible. As many times as I sat in meeting rooms and either ran the tape or was the player, I wouldn't even be able to tell you if I had a podcast that did that, if it's accurate or not, because it's not. We don't know what the play calls are. We don't know what's being taught. We don't know if the quarterback is supposed to read here to there. We don't know if the receiver ran the wrong route. So they do. I'm not criticizing what they do. I just don't believe in it. It's not accurate. So take that for what it's worth. Radware is a family-owned business that prides itself in excellent customer service while providing quality and affordable promotional products and customized apparel. This Day in Sports brought to you by our good friends at Campus USA Credit Union. Put some star power to work in your financial life. Campus USA Credit Union. This Day in Sports in 1991, Magic Johnson announces he has the HIV virus and retires from the Lakers. I remember exactly where I was when that came out. I remember we'd just come in from practice in our awful south end zone locker room. We had no TVs in there or any of that stuff. And I remember somebody got word of it, and everybody was freaking out. I totally remember that. So that's This Day in Sports brought to you by our good friends at Campus USA Credit Union. Charlie says Kerwin Bell, head coach, Charlie Strong, DC. That would not happen. Kerwin was his OC at USF and said it does not a good situation. Just copy UGA, bring back all the former Gators. Well, Charlie Strong's not a Gator. He just coached here. So you'd have to look for, Mike Peterson's on the staff now, obviously played here, but it's never been a DC, and then find a special teams guy. Well, your OC would be a Gator, find a DC, like Georgia. I like that. I think fans would like it. It ain't going to happen. At least I don't think it will. You never know. You never know. Anyway, tomorrow we'll have JC. I'm supposed to have some folks from LSU. They're bad at getting back to me. So hopefully we'll have somebody break down the Tigers, let us know if they think Jaden Daniels is going to play or if we're going to see Garrett Nussmeier, which will definitely help us. He's probably a better thrower than Jaden Daniels, but he can't run a lick. So we'll see. We got to see what happens. I don't know if y'all seen any reports about Jaden Daniels or not. I have not. Kind of been out of the loop since yesterday afternoon. Before we get out here, Kevin says the one he mostly talks about Billy's tenure at UF and recruiting and how long he has. Not sure what that. I don't know what that means. All right, so appreciate all y'all chiming in. I love to hear what y'all have to say. Got to move on. I got to move on. I'm still very upset about how it ended, but it is what it is, as they say. You got to move on. Javon Kersford, defense coordinator. Charlie, come on. Javon has never coached football in his life. Javon was a phenomenal player, but that doesn't mean he can coach defense. You got to find somebody that's done it. It's different than playing and coaching. If you haven't done it, you can't just go in there and start doing it. There's a lot of good players that can't coach a lick. They know the game, but they just can't